Hello. It is Thursday, January 8th, the year of our Lord 2025. And yesterday and today I've had good days at work. It's very frustrating because when I'm feeling well and I'm feeling like myself, I honestly love my job. I think it's fun. I like the people. I like the physical labor. And I like the cause that I'm working for in thrift. But on days where I'm not feeling well, it's just too much. It is entirely overwhelming, and having to kind of push through when I'm in a slump and every moment feels like grating over coals. I go back and forth about whether I want to leave or not all the time, like several times a day. Last month, the month before that, last 3 months, I guess, been applying for jobs like crazy. And then I stopped mid-December. Now I requested a schedule change here, which, if it gets approved, it's got to go through HR. But if it gets approved, then I might never want to leave. Loyalty used to mean something in a company, or at least it used to have the pretense of meaning something. But now we work for massive corporations that think of us as numbers and quotas and not as people. Loyalty doesn't really matter because it's one-sided. The sun is so goddamn bright today. Why isn't it rainy? It's so frustrating. But yesterday was one of those days where I'm like, this is why I'm here. I went through a woman's stuff, and I learned so much about her, and we actually have a lot in common. She had tons of note cards and postcards, lots of stamps, a collection of like little animal knickknacks. She was a veterinarian. She lived in Australia for a time and worked with like exotic animals. And she visited New Zealand, and she visited Kenya, and she was married and had 2 daughters. You can learn so much by someone's donated stuff. It's fascinating. She was really into watercolor painting. Some of the postcards she had painted seascapes on. And they were good. It's kind of like, I don't know how you found time for everything. I found her name on something and I tried to look for an obituary. I didn't find anything. So perhaps she's not dead. Perhaps she just got moved out of her home. I don't know if that's better. I often just assume people are dead when we get in collections like that. Beautiful plateware from Turkey with these intricate, like, knotwork designs. There were like 8 of them and they were all different. They were gorgeous. Someone's gonna get a real good deal on them. But I'm really over being so conflicted about so many things. Like, I like my job. Little Kelly does not like my job. It's the best I got. We tie so much of ourselves to our occupation here in America. And I don't think it's helpful. The amount of times I've heard the phrase everyone's got to work in a slew of different tonalities and intentions. But the feeling is still there, and it is something that you spend a large amount of your time on. Like 8 hours a day is a lot. Sometimes I see my coworkers more than I see my family. And I don't like the question, what do you do? It's not necessarily interesting. I would rather know. Yesterday, I asked a baby what the most exciting part of her day was. And she was a baby, so she just kind of cooed at me. And then 5 minutes later, she was screaming because she was having a bad day. But that's That's more fun. What's the most exciting thing that you've done since last time I saw you? What are you hyped to talk about? What are you in love with? Not what sort of indentured servitude are you beholden to. And some people have a blurry line there, but a lot of people don't. And honestly, thinking about it, like a good schedule is really important to me. And because of my social circle, like working nights and weekends is just hard. You know, in college when I worked nights and weekends, so did all my friends. So you went out Monday night because that's when you had off. And that's when there was karaoke at the gay bar. Loved that place. But when everyone else has a more standard Monday through Friday schedule, plan things, I'm so relieved I don't have to go in on Saturdays anymore. It's like being at the gate staring at the rabbit ready to run. But you're stuck there for 8 hours. But it doesn't feel like a lot of time today and yesterday. I also had an increase in my medication that started yesterday. No, the day before yesterday. So I don't know if that's related or if it's just me. My friend asked if having a new store manager has improved my thoughts about work at all. I was like, my thoughts have improved, but I don't think it has anything to do with her. I think it's just where I am in my head on this goddamn roller coaster that I seem to go on. I know I make a big stink about the forklift, although they have a second forklift that doesn't beep. It like makes a mechanical buzzing sound instead, and I much prefer that one. It's just that the beep is so intrusive. But I think one of the worst sounds is like an empty pallet jack going along the uneven floor. Just the rattling and the banging and like a goddamn shopping cart in a parking lot. It's awful. I'm predisposed to not like sounds, but I also believe that sounds certain sounds can make me forget and start thinking like little Kelly. Where you just needed to stop. But you know that's ridiculous and it's not possible. And so it ends up being this internal bickering that's just exhausting. Would really love to work from home or to work for myself or both. I started to review Spanish to see if I can turn my Spanish brain back on. Refresh. And maybe actually be able to hold conversations and not just intellectual discussions. In class, I was okay. Outside of class, not so much. So, and they even had the option. I chose Babbel. I used Swoop's code without honey, obviously. Just as an aside, like, honey has always seemed super fishy to me, but I assumed they were selling your information and not that they were doing other code swapping nonsense. Getting that last click. But wasn't right about what it was, but I was right that there was something not right there. But I'm trying Babbel. That seems to be all right so far. I think I probably came in like I underestimated my skill level, and so the stuff is like really easy and simple right now. I don't know if it's gonna give me a chance to skip if I need to. I can look into that, but because I can read it. I can read Spanish just as well as I can read English, which isn't great, but it is my reading ability as far as my dyslexic and comprehension hindered brain can take. But I had fun doing it yesterday afternoon. I was like, I should brush up on my French too. I have access to all the languages. French was my first love of language. Spanish was a consolation prize when my university cut the French major. I mean, ultimately, it probably has more practical applications, but